Indonesia is known for being warm, welcoming, and easy to fall in love with. But like any country, there are small cultural nuances that aren't always obvious to outsiders. Most tourists don't mean to be disrespectful, they just don't know. And sometimes, it's the smallest things that make the biggest difference in how you are received. These aren't strict rules, and nobody expects you to be perfect. Think of them more as cultural signals, ways to move through Indonesia with a bit more awareness, respect, and ease. So, if you're visiting Indonesia for the first time, or even if you've been here before, here are a few things tourists should avoid doing. Not to blend in perfectly, but to have a smoother, more meaningful experience. Number 1. Don't use your left hand. This first one might sound surprising if you're from a Western culture, but using your left hand to give or receive something can be seen as impolite in Indonesia. It's not as strict as it used to be, especially among younger people in big cities like Jakarta, but many Indonesians still notice it. I'm in my 30s, and I still remember how my parents would remind me, right hand please. The reason comes from tradition. In many Indonesian households, the left hand is associated with personal hygiene. Because of that, the right hand is considered the polite hand, the one you use when handing money, receiving documents, shaking hands, or passing an item to someone. Of course, nobody is going to be angry if you make a mistake. It's just one of those cultural habits that shows respect and people appreciate it when you try. If you want to be extra polite, you can even use both hands when giving something. Indonesians see that as a gesture of sincerity and respect. Number 2. Don't publicly display affection excessively. Showing affection to someone you love is normal anywhere in the world. Indonesia isn't against that. But culturally, Indonesians tend to express affection more privately. A lot of this comes from modesty and religious values, so being mindful of that helps you blend in better. The way people show love here is softer and less direct compared to Western countries. A quick hug at the airport might be fine, especially in places like Jakarta or Bali, where the younger generation is more open. But once you're outside the big cities, public affection becomes much less common. You won't really see people kissing in public or holding each other in a way that draws attention. You might see couples holding hands at the mall, but it's usually subtle and not overly intimate. It's not a strict rule. Nobody is going to confront you. But people may feel uncomfortable when tourists are too affectionate in public. Keeping things a little more modest is simply a way of respecting the local culture. Number 3. Don't raise your voice or confront people aggressively. This one might seem obvious, but in Indonesia, it carries a deeper meaning. People here generally avoid confrontation. They won't tell you directly if something bothers them, because keeping the peace, rukun, matters more than winning an argument. And a big part of that comes down to patience. Patience is almost built into daily life here. It's one of the reasons Indonesians rarely raise their voices. Staying calm is seen as sign of respect and maturity. If you've ever spent time in Jakarta, you'll understand exactly what I mean. The traffic alone requires a new level of patience. Yet, when you sit in a Bluebird taxi or Grab car, you'll notice how calm the drivers are. No yelling, no aggressive honking. They just go with the flow, even when the road is chaos. That mindset is something visitors should remember too. Speaking softly, staying calm, and avoiding aggressive reactions will always get you further here. It keeps interaction smooth and shows respect for the way Indonesians communicate. Number 4. Don't dress inappropriately outside tourist zones. Bali can give you the wrong impression of Indonesia's dress culture. Once you leave the beaches and the tourist streets, most people here dress more modestly. It's not about strict rules, again, it's just how people are used to living. Coming from the West, you might not think twice about wearing a crop top, super short shorts, or walking shirtless. And in Bali, that's normal. But in places like Lombok, Yogyakarta, Bandung, or smaller towns, those outfits can feel out of place. Not offensive, just surprising. Indonesia is diverse, but modesty is still a common thread, influenced by religion, tradition, and the fact that many communities here are more conservative than Bali. When tourists walk around in bikinis away from the beach or take their shirt off in public areas, it can make locals feel uncomfortable, even if they never say anything. You won't get yelled at, but you might get looks. The polite kind where people won't say anything, but you can tell they notice. Dressing a little more modestly outside tourist zone is simply a way of blending in and showing respect. And honestly, when you make that small adjustment, people respond to you with even more warmth. Number 5. Don't be too blunt. Soften your words. This is something I personally struggled with. Living in the US for 10 years really changed the way I communicate. I became more direct, more blunt, and honestly, I like that about myself. But when I came back to Indonesia, I realized I might have pressed the gas a little too much. In Western culture, saying I don't like that is normal. It's honest, straight to the point. But in Indonesia, directness like that can feel a little harsh. Not because the truth is offensive, but because the way it's delivered can embarrass the other person. Here, tone matters, kindness matters, and most importantly, saving face matters. Take something simple, like rejecting food. In the US, you'd just say, "No thanks, I'm good." But in Indonesia, it's softer. You might say, "Nanti dulu ya," maybe later, or "Saya sudah kenyang, I'm full." People aren't dumb. They know it's a polite rejection, but it keeps the interaction warm, respectful, and smooth. Because the goal isn't just to communicate. The goal is to communicate without hurting someone's feelings. That's why softening your words, adjusting your tone, and being a little gentler goes a long way here. It's not about pretending, it's about respect. Indonesia is a place that welcomes you with warmth, but it's also a place where small gestures mean a lot. The way you speak, the way you dress, the way you treat others, it all shapes how people see you and how deeply you'll connect with the culture here. These aren't strict rules, they're just gentle reminders that Indonesia moves with a different rhythm, a softer one, a more considerate one. When you adapt to it, even just a little, you don't just fit in better, you experience the country the way locals do. And that's really the whole point of traveling, right? Not just to see a place, but to understand it, even for a moment. If you found this helpful, please give the video a like. It helps this channel grow more than you know. And if you want to see more content like this, stories, lessons, and perspective about Indonesia, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications so you won't miss our next video. Thanks for watching, and wherever you are in the world, I hope you find a life that feels right for you.